This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff.
Hello.
Woo! One
Get
week till
excited.
1 week till Christmas.
It is 1 week till Christmas.
Mm, a little over, but still close. Close enough.
We are close enough. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, and it may have taken a full 24 to 48 hours. I'm not sure in that time frame what it was, Alex. But we officially have a Rich Rod believer amongst us.
I do.
Which
I do. If we're
I
gonna
can't
do,
even take you seriously.
you make me want to punch you in the face, and it's literally been 5 minutes. So, Rich Rod came out, did his press conference. As I previously stated, if you listen to the beginning episode, all I wanted was some kind of recognition of apology. I messed up, etc., etc. He several times said he made a mistake and should have never left. I accept his recognition of his wrongdoing. He seemed genuinely emotional. He signed a 5-year contract with us. He said he would have signed a lifetime contract and he intends to retire as Mountaineer, which we have heard before. We have heard that before. But I'm choosing to think positively and believe because I'm going to be a Mountaineer fan either way, and it's a lot more pleasant to be in, favor of what's going on than to try to fight against it. So, Rich Rod believer, I'm in, buying in. Tie your shoes a little tighter, put on a little more tape, put a little more air in your helmet. Let's go.
So is that where we're gonna stop it? That's where you've decided your excitement will end is
What do you mean?
because I feel like you're not doing the listeners enough justice, or maybe the text message that I read, I inflated your excitement
Oh, no,
and
I'm
your
excited.
reprieve because like you came off on the phone to me as if you did an entire about face.
Well, no, I never did an about face because I had no opinion. I was in the middle. And about face would be like, I hate
What?
this pick, I hate this pick, I hate this pick, to switching to being like, I love this pick, I love this pick, I love this
I'll
pick.
let Muff be the judge.
I
I
am
will let Alex continue to provide context before I
uh,
render judgment.
yes, I am okay. My text at Friday at 1:45 p.m. The press conference was from 1 to whenever. I said, fuck it, I'm in, hold the rope. Quote, should have never left, end quote. He owned it, and I'll take it. I then said, the man is choked up talking about his mistake of leaving and how happy he is to be back. That's all I needed. And then I went on to say, better put on a little more tape on, tie your cleats a little tighter, and put a little more air in your helmet, boys. Muff then insinuated that he was faking it. And I said, just let me have this, please. I've been through enough this year. And then Jim sent meme of the mask, Jim Carrey.
And what did that meme say?
You love me. You really love me.
It's in he's faking it.
That's fine. Just let me, again, just let me have this. I've been through enough. I get no positive energy out of thinking he's faking it. I get positive energy out of thinking he's buying in. He said he made a mistake. He's back. Something that speaks volumes to me, in all honesty, is the fact that the guys that were on the team when he left are like pulling so hard for him to be back.
So what am I rendering judgment on?
Do you believe he did a 180
No, it
from
was not a
his
full 180. It was about a 90.
I was just gonna say I would call it a 90-degree turn. I'll
It was a
accept that.
90 because Alex was very conflicted about Rich Rod coming back, as if, a scorned lover may be,
Exactly. You just don't want to trust too much right away.
but the message that was delivered, whether anybody else in the world believes it's genuine, Jim, Alex believes, and Alex is a believer in Rich Rod. I don't think we can say that Alex made a full 180. 180. I think Alex made a 90.
so we're saying he does believe in
Alex is
Rich
saying he
Raw?
I'm
believes. And
saying
that's
I
that's
believe
all I
in
have
Rich
to.
Rod.
It doesn't matter what I think Alex believes or not. Alex believes it.
Yes, exactly.
So
Thank you.
does he forgive Rich Rod?
That's an Alex question.
I forgive, but don't forget. He said, I know I'm going to have to earn the trust and respect back of the Mountaineer fans. And he does. There still is that respect and trust to be earned, but I'm buying into him being back and him wanting to be back and him going to do the right thing. And I am supporting him as a Mountaineer fan.
And
I am
not
for
the
this.
Pitt fan that infiltrated the press conference.
No. Yeah, no, that was not good.
That is not good. Any other thoughts, Jim? Questions?
No, that's fine. Let him live.
It's a very libertarian view, Jim. Live and let live.
I just feel like that, like Columbus and Morgantown just are two different places.
100% they are.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's
And
arguing
that's
that
what's showing
fact.
right now.
I like the guy who got thrown out of the press conference.
See, I think
That's a man who
that was
sticks to his guns. That's a man who
that
feels
was
so
an
much pain.
attention.
Yeah.
That was probably an attention grab because he
No,
showed
that's a
up.
true blue
No,
WVU
he
fan.
showed up like in all this WVU gear and stuff. Like if you're gonna do that, you're gonna be that pissed and cause a scene. Don't show up in like W.
No, why? Why? He's a true fan. The rest of you made it like a little stink, and you want your apology, and
I
then
never
all he had to
made a
say was "I'm
stink.
sorry."
I never made
Like
a stink.
boom,
I said I wanted him to apologize or admit that leaving was a bad idea.
he
He
gave
did.
you everything you wanted,
He did.
and like, never mind. I was make a really bad joke about West Virginia women, but I'm gonna let it go.
Oh boy, that's probably for the best.
I will question your definition of true fan, Jim.
That guy stuck to his guns.
Is a true fan not somebody who trusts the process and the program to be successful and the people that make those decisions for the most part? I'm not going to say 110% all the time, but is a true fan not somebody that supports the team and the program regardless of who is in the spots?
A guy who's is strong with his convictions.
So okay, how do you I'm strong in my convictions that I'm a WVU fan. I'm going to root for the best possible outcome in this situation. If Ryan Day's the coach of Ohio State next year, are you going to root against them?
No,
So even though you don't like Ohio, even though Ryan Day, you don't trust him to beat Michigan, you don't like him, you hate him, you're still going to want him to succeed because that means you're wanting your team to succeed.
correct.
Okay.
I think that makes you both fans, just different ways of applying your fandom.
But in the moment of Rich Rod's press conference, you can say, I don't like this man, no matter what he says.
I don't think I ever said I love this. I love Rich Rod. I'm
In
deciding.
fact,
I
Alex did
think I
say
said
he said he's a terrible human, I think.
I said I am bought in to him being back and the culture that he is bringing back of a hard edge, being tough, playing fast, getting in shape,
But if
no
a good
slackers.
opportunity comes, you can leave.
No, he just said he wasn't going to do that again. He was sorry he did it.
He said that before,
Would
though.
you not chase the money?
I've already
He
said I
didn't say
would.
that. He didn't say that. The first time he left, he just
He said
left.
he was
He
going to
didn't say he was
be
sorry
here,
about it. Yeah, that's what
and
I
he
said.
wasn't leaving.
And that's why I literally said he said it before. I'm choosing to
Right.
trust him this time.
All right. I think it's time to move on. Alex is a believer. Is a WVU fan. Alex hopes
That's
that this
also
works out
called
well.
sucker.
I mean, you were bought in that Ohio State was going to beat Michigan this year, Jim. Does that make you a
I am
sucker
a
too?
sucker,
Okay. As long as all of these can go on the other
hands
foot.
down.
All right. As long as we can apply this universally, then I think we can move on now. There were NFL games aplenty, as we had not much to talk about in the college football world, at least from a game perspective. We have other things of note happening in the college football world, including another head coaching position that was filled. So we'll get into that. We'll do a little breakdown going into round one of the college football playoff and some upcoming bowl games, of which I don't have any of them listed. So if somebody wants to look those up
Way to
as we're
go,
getting through,
Muff.
Oh boy.
Jim, you have more than enough time to look those up.
That's true.
Thanks as always to always interacting with our content on the socials at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding ding.
Don't forget about our weekly betting episodes during the football seasons, which come out on Thursday mornings. We will welcome back FanDuel guest Richie this week to go over his picks from last week with some additional breakdown of this week's slate.
I'm in. I'll be there.
Without any further ado, let's get into NFL week 14 or 15?
14.
14? It was 14?
We are,
No, we're in week 15. That was week 14. We're in
yeah,
week
because we're
15.
11-4 now, right?
That would make it week 15.
That's why I was just adding up. I was mathing.
All right. In Thursday football, we had the Rams beating the 49ers 12 to 6. A bit of a snooze fest amidst the rain in Thursday night football.
Yeah, Cooper Cup destroying people's fantasy teams.
Are you one of them?
Yes.
Yes, I have
And guess what? Brock Purdy and Cooper
also.
Cup. I got 4 points between the two of them.
Not a good night for fantasy football. I think it's time that we can put a fork in the 49ers, just like Devondre Campbell put a fork in his time with San Francisco. Campbell walked out saying he was not going to play anymore, and then the team fired back after the fact and said, "Good, we don't want you, be gone."
Yeah, I don't blame him. That's a BS move.
John Lynch reportedly also went on a tirade on the topic. Do we have any thoughts on this? The 49ers' reactions? Campbell, I haven't heard him say anything since
I think it was BS.
that he walked out.
Yes, I don't think you walk out on your team, no matter how bad the game's going. I'll lose respect for you in that situation.
Not good. Not good. Rams are looking to be in a good spot now. They are atop the NFC West with possibly some significant concerns for the Seahawks moving forward. More to come on that. Commanders
Bum,
Bum,
ba-dum, bum,
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 bum, bum,
bum.
bum.
beat the Saints 2019. Commanders do let the Saints back into this one. The Saints trotted out Jake Hayner. Who do you say? Jake Hayner. I don't even know where he went to school. Don't remember him in college.
I don't either. I'm glad you said that because I was like, I missed 4 years.
But Jake Hayner started the game for the Saints, but ultimately ended up with Spencer Rattler. Brought the Saints back into this game, scoring a touchdown in the final minute, only to miss the 2 point conversion for the win, and also possibly putting the refs on blast if the Saints would have ended up winning this because the referee blew the clock dead after a play that ended in bounds for the Saints that most likely would have allowed the clock to run out, but he blew it dead and nobody knows why. And there weren't really any true betting implications on the line, which is something people were concerned about.
Nobody knows.
So, Scary Terry had a big day. Could have been even better as he missed out on a couple other big plays by fingertips. The Commanders were coming off a bye into this game and had trouble putting away the Saints. Do we think should be concern for the Commanders moving forward for the rest of their season?
I think the Commanders are on a positive trajectory as a program. I think maybe we got overhyped just because they were super good at the beginning of the year. So I don't want to put too much on them maybe taking a small step back because I think maybe we just got too excited because of their big leap this year into a more, average to good realm of football team. I think they will continue to build on this year's success. It reminds me kind of like when the Lions were in that middle ground of like, oh, they're starting to get good, but they're not like great yet. Like I think they have some pieces and they're moving in the right direction.
Jim, any thoughts on the Commanders?
I think they'll have a better year next year.
Next, we have the Chiefs beating the Browns 21 to 7. The Chiefs continue to chief and the Browns continue to brown. Biggest news coming off of this is what is the future of Patrick Mahomes for the next game and potentially for the rest of the regular season. I
He
believe he's
got hurt for Christmas.
Diagnosed high ankle sprain, I believe, is what I heard.
Yeah, Brittany wants him home.
This is obviously after Mahomes' comments, blasting the NFL for scheduling them to play 3 games in 10, 11 days, whatever it was, or whatever it will be,
I'm
I should say.
I'm just kind of mad because like I want Patrick Mahomes to play against the Steelers on Christmas. Like if we're gonna beat them or if we do beat them, I want it to be like with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that if Mahomes can't play on Christmas Day, Netflix is not going to be happy. Jameis Winston for the Browns. There's 3 interceptions, and Dorian Thompson Robinson gets into this one.
I think Nick
Uh,
Chubb broke his foot, right?
no idea. Did not see that one come across my timeline, Alex.
I will look, but I am 90% sure that Nick Chubb broke his foot.
All right, do we think that Jameis is going to stay in Cleveland and be there next year?
Uh yeah. Who else are gonna, I mean, unless they draft someone.
There's just a lot of thought that maybe they're going to go out and look for somebody different to fill that role because he has, been competitive in some games, but not really helping them really to progress them. He had 3 interceptions in this one, so
I could see
um,
them looking for someone else but keeping him. I don't think he's good enough to get like much out of him. Like as
yeah,
far as like trade bait or something.
uh, we'll see. I'm unsure of where this is going to play out. I just know that there's conversations about the future of James Winston in Cleveland.
Browns, head coach Kevin Stefanski said Monday he doesn't expect Chubb foot to require surgery to address his broken left foot, but he's out for the season.
There it is. Everything trending downward for the Browns. Also, AFC North, we had the Bengals beating the Titans 37 to 27. The Bengals continue to try to stay relevant in the playoff hunt, while the Titans have to be, in my mind, kicking themselves again for letting Vrabel out the door in Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean that was has not aged well.
Yeah. Mason Rudolph got some snaps in this one. I think this leads to even more questions about what is the future of Will Levis going to be past his first part of his rookie deal, and are they looking to bring somebody in? I don't know
I
if
would have
Jameis is the answer there, but somebody.
I would have to say yes. I mean, Will Levis does not look to me like a future NFL All-Star.
Indeed, no. Jim, any thoughts? Bengals, Titans.
This is a good get back win. Like I think they'll get better, the Bengals. But yeah, the Titans are kicking themselves for letting Vrabel out the door. I hope Vrabel lands in a good spot moving forward. Who knows? But I hope Ohio State.
You hope. Well, we'll
I
see.
mean, I hope.
Listen, if there's somebody looking for an Ohio bred person, that's it. Texans beating the Dolphins 20 to 12. The Texans do get the dub, but the story of this game was Dolphins wide receiver Grant Dubose, who was carted off the field after an ugly hit where he appeared to be knocked out cold for many minutes, was rushed off the field in a stretcher, and it has been reported he's in stable condition. This is an absolutely awful, awful situation and potential. We don't know what the outcome will truly be for a player who took the long road to get there. Worked from D2, I think he played in the UFL. Finally, he's got some meaningful time in this game, and this, unfortunately, is how likely his season ends. TBD on the rest after this fact.
He, I feel like the Dolphins are like a bad luck magnet for like major injury. Maybe I'm just having recency bias with Tua, but
Especially head neck area.
that's what I
Um,
mean.
speaking of Tua, there was some additional commentary from the NFL pundits and some of the ex-quarterbacks, the Tom Brady's, Dan Orlovsky's of the world, that Tua, who was brought into this league under the guise, not under the guise, but with the strengths of being accurate, uh, being part of an issue maybe in Miami that he's putting his receivers in some bad spots, particularly over the middle of the field. Not just this incident, but others that have been brought up.
I was gonna say, wasn't this a topic earlier in the season as well? Or
Yes.
He
that
felt
was Kirk
like
Cousins.
he took the blame from what I just read before coming on the show. Like he put his receiver in that spot.
Right. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. I think there's just general conversation about Tua. And at this point, you just hear people like Tom Brady argue that quarterbacks in general are less uh, receiver friendly in their ball placement.
Well, because I feel like we just talked about this with Kirk Cousins, right? Was that might be who I'm thinking
No,
of.
I couldn't think of the quarterback either. You're right. Somebody was. Let me float an idea out there. And maybe this is conspiracy, maybe some listener, maybe you guys will say, Jim, you are full of shit. College rules have put a lot of emphasis on targeting and big hits, so they don't really occur. And a lot of the play calling has a lot of the over the center action. I mean, I play NCAA. Everything that works is over the center. A lot of what you see Ohio State doing is over the center of the field, over the middle of the field, and you get tossed from a game. So defenders are hesitant to do that. And then you go to the NFL, and the rules are a tad bit different, but the quarterbacks are getting drafted fresh out and they're starting more. So I think there's a adjustment that needs to be made that's just not being made. You have young quarterbacks making college type plays against grown ass men who are defending them.
I'm not going to entirely disagree. I'm going to put some additional of my own context to that. Is I believe that what works in the college game is being implemented more into the NFL with more of those crossing routes. I'm going to say crossing routes is when we use, not necessarily slants over the middle, because that's always been a concern, especially with slot receivers. You think going backwards to like Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, right? Those guys used to go over the middle and just clobbered, right? And they
Mm-hmm.
weren't even necessarily running slants, they were just going over the middle of the field.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're seeing the outside receivers coming across the field, which used to
Right.
be like the biggest no-no ever. Like, no, we're not going to take you outside the hash and run you across the field because somebody's going to be hunting you.
Yep.
So I think that NFL offenses are also making some adjustments to exactly what you're saying, because the big hit is not as prevalent and it's being adjudicated against at all levels.
I don't know that. So if you get thrown out of a game in college football, it's devastating to the team. Whereas I think a fine is not, the NFL players don't give a shit. They're just there to play football. Like it doesn't hit them as hard.
It doesn't hit them as hard until you get to uh, the situation with guy from the Texans.
Yeah, I agree.
Like
I
then
agree.
like then you start losing game checks.
But it's
Um,
not in the front of your mind, is what I'm saying.
no, I'm not gonna say it's in the front of your mind. No.
Whereas I guarantee
You
it's
don't
in
you
the
don't
front of college defenders' minds.
Yeah, and you're right, because you lose, that half plus, another half. And I also think that they're playing less games. They have less time. They have, you know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like if you lose one out of 12 games, that's a lot worse than losing one out of 17 when you might have a 10-year career where you lose one out of 12 games and maybe only have 2 years to really show your stuff to see if you make it
Hmm.
to the league. That could be.
And then you just have quarterbacks who aren't prepared and think like that. They aren't out there trying to save a guy's career. These guys are just trying to progress and be like, hey, I am good. Trust me. Please don't bench me. I am good. I swear.
Yeah. I think there's some of that 7v7 mentality too,
Yeah.
right? That's how a lot of the development is happening, especially at the high school level and probably in summer workouts, right? They're just doing 7v7, so which is a wide open game. So that's what we're used to working with. So no, I don't disagree with what you just said. Just I think there's additional context to the NFL part of
Yeah.
that discussion. Um, Next we get the Ravens.
Well, I
beating
guess
his.
before you move on,
Yeah,
like, what is the solution then? Is it solve it at the college level, or is it solve it? I mean, that would be my answer because the NFL's already gets enough shit for being too soft.
yeah.
Is it solve it at the college level?
I
I
don't know
think,
what the solution is.
or more education going from college to the pros of like, hey, this is a common theme. Be on the lookout for it. Like, do they not realize as much, and maybe it just needs like brought more to the forefront of their attention?
Which is Brady's claim of like we need to throttle back on starting these young kids and educate more before we let them loose. I was a firm believer of that, and I heard that at the start of this NFL season from Tom Brady. It was like we are starting these kids too early.
Well, and it kind of ruins their career.
Yeah.
It can. I mean, or
We
it can ruin others' careers and potentially like Grant Dubose.
And I think as we're making the transition to the Ravens Giants game, I think that's what happened with Daniel Jones is I think we started that kid way too early.
Remember, he got an extension.
But I still think his development in the beginning wasn't enough. I think he could have gone to a different team and learned and been a lot better than where he's now sitting.
I don't think anybody's going to the Giants right now and learning anything.
But that's my thing. Like
All right.
mismanagement from management is detrimental to these teams.
Indeed. Ravens beat the Giants 35 to 14. Ravens doing what they're supposed to do, cover that big spread. Tommy Cutlets goes out in this one, leaving Tim Boyle at the helm for the Giants and Drew Lock, who was injured, as the emergency QB.
Tim Boyle's a name we haven't heard since the last time there was a major dumpster fire.
Right?
Indeed, we found another one. We had another flyover in this game as the fans continue to push ownership. This one, the flyover with the message was, Mr. Mara, enough. Please fix this dumpster fire.
I feel bad for Giants fans.
Definitely no bueno. No bueno for Giants faithful. The Jets beat the Jaguars 32 to 25. The Jets score with just over a minute left and hold on to get the win over the Jags, who started Mac Jones.
Matt
Mac
Jones.
Jones.
Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams finally have a big game together for their time at the Jets, but it's obviously a little too late for the current season. But is it too late for the Jets in the future of what could be next year?
Mm,
We bringing them back. We're bringing the band back together.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, me either.
Maybe we'll find out more as Enigma comes out this week. The docu-series about
I
Aaron
can't wait.
Rodgers.
You are like a promotional machine for this damn documentary.
Listen, I'm gonna be so about it. I think it comes out today, the 17th. Oh,
I can't deal with you.
which means midnight. Maybe calling my name. Cowboys beat the Panthers 30 to 14. Any progress that the Panthers and Bryce Young were high on going into this one came crashing down as the boys' D was too much, and CeeDee Lamb had a big game along with Rico Dowdle. Cowboys, I believe, still have some life in the wild card hunt in the NFC.
Well, I just can't believe that. I hate the Cowboys.
The Bucks beat the Chargers 40 to 17.
Did not
Yeah,
see that coming.
I didn't. Not that big of a
Yeah,
surprise.
I am unsure. Is it time to give the Bucks a nice little golf clap, or is it time to push a little bit of a panic button for the
I
Chargers?
saw a stat that like Harbaugh's 1-5 against teams with a winning record.
Yes, I do believe. Not that I believe that. Yeah, they beat who they're supposed to beat, and they've struggled against teams that are good.
So they're like the opposite, minus this week. They're the opposite of the Steelers. They play well when they play good teams.
Yeah. I mean, there has been a little discussion since the J.K. Dobbins injury about the effectiveness of that offense, especially with the run game, as they don't really have a solid backup. I thought Gus Johnson was going to be good. They've
Gus
got,
Edwards,
oh
Gus
yeah, sorry.
Johnson's
Oh,
not good.
Jesus. Gus Johnson, we don't, sorry. I did that to myself. I
You
should
did.
just totally excommunicate
You
myself
should
from fandom.
wash your mouth out
Ugh,
with soap.
I do. Gus Edwards, thought he was going to be a good backup, but apparently not working out. And their third down back, Vidal, is not an every down type of back. So, what do you guys think? Is it time to golf clap the Bucks or panic button the Chargers?
Golf clap.
I think golf clap the Bucks right now is more where I stand.
I think one more loss from the Chargers in a situation they should have won. Yeah, panic button. But no, right now it's golf clap the Bucks.
I'll agree to that. Golf clap the Bucks. Broncos beat the Colts 31 to 13. Broncos put themselves in a very good spot for a playoff berth, and I believe the Colts are now officially eliminated.
Broncos still look good. I mean, they started slow, and Jonathan Taylor made like the, all-time error to kind of shift the tide there. But Broncos look good. Don't sleep on them.
Yeah,
Yeah, that slow start scared me, but I agree with you. Don't sleep on them.
yeah. Sean Payton just does Sean Payton things.
He's a good
Uh,
coach. Can't take it away from him.
no. Cardinals beat the Patriots 30 to 17. The Cards stay on the fringes of playoff contention, and just hope that we don't have a new update or any new versions of Call of Duty dropping soon.
Hey boy. Yeah.
And in a high scoring affair, zero defense provided in this one, the Bills take down the Lions 48 to 42. This is a Big 12 game, Alex.
It really was. It was. But I like every once in a while a good high scoring NFL game. David
Uh,
Montgomery knocked out for the season.
yeah, that did not help my fantasy football hopes. In fact, we'll get into it. I had done a lot of depending on David Montgomery and Saquon Barkley, and they let me down when I needed them the most in the first round of the playoffs. Terrible day.
Welcome to fantasy.
Welcome to fantasy. Josh Allen, a huge day. Does this put him atop all of our MVP talks at this point?
I think you have to deeply consider him.
Is there anybody
He
else
just
that we should have at the top of that list right now, or at least in the top two or three?
uh it's hard because like part of me wants to say like someone from like the Lions or something, but like I can't put Jared Goff in that conversation with Josh Allen. And uh, do you look at
Right?
like Derrick Henry? Not really. He had opportunity throughout the season. Saquon Barkley had kind of some shining moments throughout the season, but realistically, I think if you're looking from start to finish, you're looking at Josh Allen, in my opinion.
Jim, any other thoughts on MVP candidates?
I don't know.
I think Josh Allen's the only one that you can put at the top of the list right now. Like that's just
Yeah.
my only thought is I don't know if there's anybody else that can rival him
Are,
outside of
are
the
people going to
second.
argue for Pat Mahomes?
I don't think people are going to argue for him because his stats don't stand out. They're going to argue the argument's going to become the loudest if the Chiefs end up with the number one seed and Patrick Mahomes plays through injuries to get them there. Then there will be an argument, no matter what the stats are, because the team performed better on the field.
But it's the most valuable player, not the most valuable team. And I feel like every year around this time we get into this debate.
I don't disagree. Dan Campbell did a you can't surprise onside kick anymore, but called out an onside kick at an odd time in the third quarter of this game. Or was it early
What
fourth
did
quarter?
someone made a post about like this Dan Camp off CTE?
Well,
He may.
it's you see some of his highlights. He was definitely not shying away
Exactly.
from contact in his career.
Exactly.
Um, so with these teams in a high scoring affair, we've got the Lions pretty much being a mash unit on the defensive side of the ball. Just lost David Montgomery. We've got the Bills similarly in a not so great spot on the defensive side of the ball. These teams, as they are right now, are they in a position to compete at the highest level with the best teams in their conference.
I truly believe that they're good enough teams that yes.
Defenses be damned.
Yes.
Okay.
I think they have enough other strong attributes that will carry them through those.
The Lions?
Yes.
I don't know. How many blows can they take? I think that's the same argument. And Alex, I'm sorry, hold on to your butt here, but that's the same argument Ohio State had made, and look at them now. Like they got enough talent. That offensive line took so much shelling that it didn't show out. I think that's what's going to happen to the Lions. Like they took
Yeah, but
enough hits that,
It's not the offensive side of the ball that's the problem,
yeah,
Jim.
if
It's
they
the
didn't have
defensive side of the
Jahmyr
ball.
Gibbs,
but injuries are injuries. Like you could take so many
Okay.
blows that, like, all right,
is Aiden Hutchinson still on the map for a possible comeback?
I highly doubt that. They may not have ruled him officially out, but I believe he's out.
I know. It was just their like hype train of like, you never know.
Yeah.
We make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, it's just going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how these teams play out if they don't get any healthier, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Hilarious stat. Josh Allen has more rushing touchdowns at 28 years old than Hall of Fame running backs Terrell Davis and O.J. Simpson
that's crazy.
as a quarterback in the NFL. And the last game of the afternoon, we had the Eagles taking down the Steelers 27 to 13. Steelers have not beat the Eagles in Philly since October of 1965.
Wow. That we looked like dog doo doo, in my opinion. It was not a good game from us.
Go on, Alex.
It just wasn't. I feel like we couldn't move the ball. We had two turnovers. Like we got two turnovers in the first half and got 3 points out of it in their territory. The Najee Harris looking down the field before he secured the ball fumble completely shifted the momentum. I just feel like we looked sloppy. Like we couldn't get like good drives strung together. We couldn't get the momentum on our side. We played, I don't know, just not to the level that you have to play to beat a good team like the Eagles.
Yeah. I think the Steelers did what they could on the defensive side of the ball. They made the Eagles one-dimensional, but could not cover Devontae Smith and AJ Brown one-on-one. Right? That was what it was. They took Saquon Barkley out of the game, but they just said, "Okay, Jalen Hurts throw the ball around," and he did.
Yeah, I agree. We like
Uh,
didn't have enough people that were able to cover that many other good offensive weapons. Like we ran out of options.
Darnell Washington pulled a big Mike Orr in this one, in the scuffle that ensued. Had some Steelers fans pretty upset. Jim, did you happen to see this
I
replay?
did not.
Darnell Washington, Steelers backup tight end, comes in a lot of running situations. Literally blocked one of their DBs through the end zone and pushed him up against the back wall.
He said, I was taking him home.
And then after that, it was just there was a whole kerfuffle, and there were Steelers fans are upset because they said multiple Philly players threw punches, and the outcome was the Steelers had two personal foul penalties and the Eagles had one, none of which were on the people that threw punches. Uh, but that was just a funny situation to me. If George Pickens isn't on the field, somebody else is going to figure out how to start a fight.
Yeah.
Biggest takeaway for the Steelers: what is the future of TJ Watt? Went out towards the end of the game. They're calling a lower ankle sprain.
They seemed positive on his ability to come back when I was on ESPN today. It was on in the break room at work, and I didn't get to like actually listen super well because there are other people in the room, but it seemed, questionable, but not a no for sure.
That, along with George Pickens, who some are saying has a grade 2 hamstring injury, which is usually 3 to 4 weeks. Not good for the Steelers' offensive situation. Any thoughts, questions, comments, Jim, Alex?
No, you hit those
No.
lights.
All right, and in Sunday Night Football, we have the Packers beating the Seahawks 30-13. Packers looking pretty good, and Geno Smith goes down. Unsure of his status moving forward, unless somebody has seen something I have not.
I haven't seen anything official.
Without Geno, can the Seahawks be competitive?
No. I mean, who's their backup?
No.
I don't even know.
I believe there's the answer. We do not know. All right, in Monday Night Football, we've got two games going on as we record. Bears at Vikings, Falcons at Raiders. Live updates. What do we got? Bears at Vikings. Score is
It was 10-0. Let me see if it still is. It still is 10-0. Minnesota with 33 seconds left in the first half.
Falcons Raiders.
And that is 7-3 at Atlanta with 11:44 left to go in the first half. So
That wraps up the NFL slate. Any other news from the NFL?
No.
no,
All
no,
right.
not
It's time, boys. College football playoffs.
Before you begin, I put all of the bowl games down here at the bottom. I didn't put the names of the bowls because I don't really give a shit. But the bowl games up until our next recording are down here.
good job, Jim.
Was there another? Not an official bowl game. I was thinking of what has happened thus far. Um, so we've got South Alabama, Western Michigan was one that happened, a bowl game. That was the what was that? I forget. Salute to Veterans Bowl. South Alabama wins 30-23. Jim,
What about it?
you were done wrong.
I was done dirty. The
You,
hook got
you,
me.
you, not even the hook that got you. You were done dirty because late opt-outs for South Alabama, including their leading receiver and
Yeah,
their
yeah,
starting
that's true.
quarterback. You were done dirty, and we were all done dirty
And we
by that.
almost, and we still almost got it done.
Still almost got it done. I was watching that game, and I was watching at the beginning, and they're like, news, late opt-outs, and I said, you son of a bitch.
This is why betting on bowl games kind of sucks.
This was no fun. And I bought into all of the hype because you had all the good information, only to get screwed by the late opt-outs, Jim.
I did. I
Well,
did.
and without the late opt-outs, Jim would have had very valuable information. So
Oh
I
yeah.
just like to be out there saying that,
But to be fair, I almost caught it anyway.
you did. That's why I said we almost took care of business anyway.
Fortunately, ultimately we did not. The college football playoffs.
Yeah.
The majority of these games are going to be on Saturday. Guess what? The NFL said, "Screw you, college football. This is our first big Saturday too."
Well, I don't think they're going to be competing. I think college may make a run at them.
Oh, I definitely do.
On this particular Saturday, I agree.
Yeah.
I just the
I think it's
NFL at
funny
this
that
point just
they
NFL just doesn't care. They
no, they
took over
don't.
No.
Christmas. They're taking over Saturdays when the
Yeah.
college football playoffs happening. The NFL is just tossing that middle finger up all day. I don't care.
I think it's a good test for everybody.
Indeed, we will see. Starting the college football playoff in Friday night football, we have Indiana at Notre Dame with the winner playing Georgia. I have not seen a weather report, but I've got to imagine it's going to get a little chilly.
I saw a weather report last Friday. Not going to be that bad. Not going to be that bad. But
Eh,
it could have changed.
I'm looking. They're a day ahead of us typically, and when we think of weather and the fronts, I'd say it's going to be low 30s. At night, maybe high 20s. That's reasonable. It's reasonable December weather in that area. I don't know about snow, but temperature
I
wise,
just
it's
put it
reasonable.
into, I thought I put it into my maps
Hmm.
or my weather app, and it was like 85 degrees. I was like, what? It
So,
screwed up.
is there another South Bend we don't know about?
No, for some reason it pulled up somewhere in the Bahamas.
You with
Yeah,
Nate right now?
33 on a high for the day, 22 for the low. At night, oh, that doesn't say what it says at night.
Yeah, it'll probably be mid to high 20s.
Yeah,
I can that's I mean both teams are in the same state, so there's no
Well,
real.
that's
yeah,
what I was gonna say. There's not like an advantage one way or the other.
right.
I just thinking from the perspective of the playoff picture of, oh my
Playoffs.
God, this is a game we would never want to watch this in the playoffs. A 10-degree game with snow on the field. Nobody wants this.
I
Like
want it.
the ratings game is what I'm assuming is going to happen. Um, thoughts on that game? General thoughts. We'll get into the betting thoughts later, but
I'd like to see IU just beat the shit out of Notre
I was gonna
Dame.
say I'm hardcore rooting for IU.
yeah, we have Kurt Signetti, which we'll talk about, Coach of the Year. So hopefully adding to that for Indiana, Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman. I think it's reported that he's being extended. So
Yeah.
I feel like this year he earned it.
Oh, fuck off, Alex.
I'm just being honest.
made it to the
Well, you're
playoff
wrong.
Why am I wrong?
because he lost
People
one game to
lost.
Northern Illinois. But
Yeah.
they're in the playoff, Jim.
No, he didn't earn shit.
Okay.
All right. SMU at Penn State, noon on Saturday. The winner playing Boise State.
Oh, you liked Marcus Freeman.
That doesn't mean you earn a 4-year extension being the most lucrative coach to not win a national title.
We don't know that he has it yet.
We do know that he hasn't won it yet.
Yeah, okay, we know that he hasn't won it yet, but we don't know that he's not gonna.
Right. But he is now the highest paid non-winning national title coach. Like it is the most lucrative contract.
Okay.
Do you think he deserves that? No.
Do we'll take it from a player's perspective, NIL, the top rosters, which includes Ohio State, but not only Ohio State, Jim.
Hmm.
The highest paid rosters, if they don't come out with a national championship, what do we do with them?
Who? Ohio State or Notre Dame? You
Well, no,
confused
I'm
me.
saying no, I'm just saying Ohio State's in like the top five highest paid NIL rosters, but
Yep.
they are not the highest.
Hmm.
Like those teams that have those distinctions, if those teams
Hmm.
do not win, do we totally rethink their NIL deals?
We should.
Okay. I'm just saying it's a similar thing. You have to prove it. And we're doing the same thing with players, is giving them all of this without having any type of
I,
results yet. Yet.
I, I like Marcus Freeman, good guy. Don't think he deserves to have that extension. Now, he wins a national title and we talk extension. All right, sure. He makes it to the semis. I'd sniff at the extension. Make the playoffs as Notre Dame. And Alex, I feel like you can understand this. Like it's kind of set up for them to make it.
No, it is, and I agree with that.
So sorry, I don't agree he gets the extension yet.
SMU at Penn State, wind chill forecast to be 13 degrees in State College. The big news right now coming out of State College, Drew Aller anticipated to return to Happy Valley for another year. And just before that, we had backup quarterback Bo Pribula
Was
entering.
it just before?
It was 20 within 24-hour period.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's not the
It
way it
was
hit
like
my
yes.
timeline, so that's why I'm asking.
I think
Yeah.
yesterday was the backup, and then today I saw the Drew Aller.
Yes.
Okay.
So, Bro Pribula entering the transfer portal will not be eligible to play in the playoffs for Penn State. Just adds a totally different wrinkle or lack thereof, maybe, for Kononeki and the Penn State offense, as Bro Pribula did play a reasonable role
He had
in
a
a lot
niche.
of these. Yeah, he had an niche to this. I do not know much about the third string. Now, the backup quarterback may have a similar style, but Prabul is definitely somebody they could count on to come in for those special plays.
Put the brakes to Aller and Penn State's Dunzo,
I,
right?
no, they got running. They got the yard boys. They got the running backs. It's okay.
Okay.
Um, I do think, and this is not just because of Prabul, I think this is definitely going to continue to call into question the rules governing the transfer portal because it does close officially on the 28th, but called teams in the college football playoff and their players get 5 days after they are eliminated to go into the portal and make decisions.
Which
Um,
is what, which is, sorry, not to cut you
no, go
off.
ahead.
Like if you were the Joe Perbola, would part of me says I'd wait, see if I do anything good in the playoffs, and then maybe make myself more marketable. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't understand really the decision to jump beforehand.
The
That
justification,
was silly.
the justification that I've heard the most is, let's just say you are on a team, Bopperbrilla or otherwise. Doesn't necessarily have to be just him. It could be anybody.
Okay.
You are on a team of which your stock is rising or has risen throughout the year. You
Yes.
are not a starter, but you play a key role. Maybe you're like
Yes.
running back number two, quarterback number two, wide receiver number two or three.
Yes.
I think it's going to play off most often for quarterbacks in this situation. Your team goes on an extended run.
Hmm.
Other teams get eliminated. There are other solid quarterbacks, we'll use the quarterback term here,
Basically,
that
lose your spot.
have options in all of those slots where these big openings are for these high NIL deals or just high profile positions start to get filled, and by the time your team is eliminated, there aren't a lot of options left. That's like the best argument I've seen otherwise.
So then that wouldn't.
I land more where you two are. I'm saying that's the argument I've seen on the other side.
Yeah, no,
But
yeah.
where do we think then Bose thinks he's gonna land?
That's I don't know. I mean, you got to think if you go back to it's Penn State history, Will Levis ended up in Kentucky, right? And catapulted himself. So
So
I
we're
mean,
looking at Old Miss.
that honestly would probably make a good fit when you think of Lane Kiffin.
I mean that's the only thing that I banged my brain around was like not gonna be a Big Ten unless he goes to IU.
IU, Iowa.
But I would have stayed at Penn State versus Iowa. At that point, you're not changing a lot.
No, aside from the fact that you're going to be QB1.
But I mean, like you could probably compete. I don't think Drew Aller is the be all end all. I think you could beat Drew Aller.
I don't think Burt Willis had 3 years to do it.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen for him at this point.
Yeah. I just wasn't
So
impressed with Drew Aller. I think Bo could have taken a stab at it.
what's your why are you so down on Drew Aller right now?
I'm just not impressed with the guy. I don't think he's the be all end all. Like I just don't.
Would you take Will Howard or Drew Aller?
Will Howard.
That's concerning based on what he's done to your team.
I just would. I
As far as
think
a turnover situation, I'm not saying that
I
he
understand
isn't a
that, but I think
gamer.
as far as like the leadership, the moxie, if you will, I want that guy. I think Bo is the same kind of guy.
Bo's a Trace McSorley throwback.
I just
That's
like it.
that's what he is. Thoughts on this game? Penn State talk. I honestly don't know much about SMU. Not
I
as big of a situation of them coming into Happy Valley for 13-degree weather because SMU does get cold at times.
This made it more interesting for me. I'll tell you that much.
Alex,
I
I'm sorry,
I'm
Jim.
rooting for Penn State. That's all I really got in this game. Like you said, I don't know enough about SMU to have like a strong actual opinion of like that kind of nature at this point, but I'm
I
rooting for
think
it.
I think my membership card says I have to root for Penn State. Like my fandom membership says I have to. I don't know that I want to, but
I usually don't root for Big Ten either, but I'm rooting for Muff.
I have to root for Big Ten. That's
I
what I
know.
have
I
to
usually
root
root
for.
against Big Ten, but I'm rooting for Muff.
Yeah.
All right, and Saturday afternoon action: Clemson at Texas. Winner playing Arizona State. Quinn Ewers, speculation that he potentially could be receiving a high NIL deal from an unnamed Big Ten team.
Shut the fuck up.
That is a rumor, Jim.
Who?
It's unnamed, Jim. That is the report and the
All right, but
speculation,
let's
rumor that's
let's
gone.
throw it out there.
Is he coming home, Jim?
There's no way. Although we just lost Aaron Nolan, we did sign a kid as a freshman. What's his face that's entered the portal?
Is there not an opening?
There's no way.
Oh
If he
boy, we
comes
got all
back,
excited.
what is your reaction, and then what is the greater Columbus reaction if that goes down, Jim?
I have no idea.
Is this like Rich Rod coming back?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Because I mean, I'll be honest. I remember when he left, there wasn't a lot of like disdain for him,
But who
right?
would have the funds? Like, let's Ohio State obviously has the funds. Michigan has the funds, but they're not going to pull that trigger.
Even for a year to let him learn, let Underwood learn under him. I mean, they got the coin to do it if they really wanted to.
That would be insane.
IU, Curtis Rourke's graduating, correct?
Yeah, but they don't have the coffers, do they?
Signetti's, I think, made some
Oh,
plays this year. I'm not saying they've got the deep pockets, but they may be able to shoot their shot on one big player.
Oh man.
That's the
Where
rumor.
did
I'm
you
not
hear
saying
this?
it's
Where did you hear this?
I saw it on a couple different uh I'm gonna see these were general Instagram news outlets. It hasn't been reported by anybody notable, but I saw it enough places that I was like, huh, something may be afoot
it's a
here.
foot.
This is also one of the things I don't think you're going to see any of those notable news outlets jump on until Texas is eliminated.
I think you got I think you got this fake news thing going on.
I don't know, buddy. We'll find out. He's not somebody that's going to opt out. He's going to opt into the portal. Like
No.
this, if there is tampering going on, which is what this would be, right? In the NFL, you'd be paying millions of dollars of fines and losing draft picks. And NCAA football, what do we get?
It could be Oregon.
Yeah, also true.
It could be Oregon. I'm more sold as Oregon now that I think about it.
I just think as a storyline, it'd be much better if he went back to Ohio State.
I think it's Oregon. I think him and Lanning will be like the perfect match. I think Oregon.
And then Arch Manning steps in.
Yeah, I think it's Oregon,
All right.
especially if they won the Natty
Oh, yeah. Because they'll just accumulate money just because.
and reload.
Yep. So
Yeah,
Clemson, Texas, how do we feel about that game?
sad Dabo.
Figured
All
as
right.
much. Horns down, Alex.
Mm,
Ooh.
nah.
Alex, unsettled
Oh,
on the opinion.
I don't like Dabo.
Sad Dabo.
I'm kind of on sad Dabo train.
I honestly, for the matchup, I want to see Clemson, Arizona State because I think those two head coaches at odds would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Dillingham versus Dabo, that's like, you know, the preacher versus the young kid who tries to come in and just destroy the church.
I kind of don't hate Steve Sarkisian, and I think that's why I have a hard time and I kind of like don't hate Texas.
I would like to see Arizona State upset Texas because I'm not the biggest fan of Sark, but sad Dabo all the way.
All right. And in the nightcap, the primetime matchup, we have Tennessee traveling to Columbus to take on Ohio State, the winner playing Oregon. What are the storylines in Columbus for this week, Jim?
This week, it's been like 2, 3 weeks. Um, I think there's more talk of like what will Tennessee's fandom do has been the storyline. There was rumors of a leaked code for pre-sale tickets. There's rumors of like, is their fan base going to show up? Ticket prices went from like 200, 225, 300. Oh no, they're going to jump up because Tennessee's going to screw us. Now it's like I just got a call today that I could get a deck at $300 a ticket. So and then it's our kids will be out, so we're not going to show up. So it's really they're talking about the atmosphere, not a lot of talk about will we show up, and then it turned into Ryan Day is going to pull out all the stops. He's changing the schemes. He's rechanging the line. A lot of unknown is basically how we feel. A lot of uh-ohs and what's going to happen.
Is this because of a cloud of secrecy within the program or just
I think it's everything we can do to try to not talk about Michigan.
okay?
We'll make as many other topics as possible.
As many other stories as possible.
Don't ever talk about this. Let's talk about
Yeah.
every other thing that can come up.
Yep. I mean,
That's why I was
uh,
surprised the Quinn Ewers thing hadn't reached your, because that would be like a topic.
yeah, but that's too much scuttlebutt. Then we're upset because we're not making enough waves in the portal. The Twitter sphere is like, well, we're after this guy. Well, we're after that guy. Well, we missed on that guy. Donors are upset. We're not getting enough money. Like it's chaos.
Well, I think,
It literally is always chaos. Like
Yeah, I agree with
respectfully,
you. I agree with
respectfully,
you.
Ohio State will never just be like, all right, we're having a great time.
No, but I think this is more like if there were levels, I think we're always sitting at two. I think this is like four on a scale of five.
Okay, I was gonna say you're talking about like a very reduced scale, like on a scale of 1 to 3.
On a scale of five.
You
Five would be the loss of Michigan where we were burning everything down.
literally, I just truly believe that you guys could have beat Michigan, gone undefeated, won a national title, and you guys would find things to be like,
Oh, we would be at one.
no, you'd beat it like a two still.
Mm,
I
Something.
I feel like there would still be the transfer portal, like, oh my God, we're gonna be terrible. We didn't
yeah,
get
you're
these
probably right.
people.
We'd be at a two. You're
Yeah,
I'm not
like
right.
saying
instead of
like
just like
terrible.
enjoying the
Yeah, we'd be at a two. I
There's
give you
no,
that.
there's never complacency. I'll say that.
No. Yeah,
Right?
we'd be
That's
at
where
a
I
two.
think of
I'll give you
one as
that.
like complacency.
Yep.
Um, I think
I would say zero, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I agree. I'm sorry. I don't think you're ever gonna get
Zero
that.
is never achievable.
Um, I think not lost, but sometimes I think caught in the hustle bustle of the portal right now is that roster limits are going to go down.
Oh, well, hell, if we know about that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I don't think that fan bases can get too worked up, especially teams in the playoff right now, too worked up about the transfer portal because you don't know who you're going to have and not have yet. Because unless it's a unique situation like Bro Pribula or somebody else, like you don't know where all these spots are necessarily going to be at the end of the season.
I don't think that, especially Columbus fans, I will speak solely for Columbus fans. Last year, we had the moment of Ryan Day on signing day and portal day, where he had his big moment where the phones rang
Mhm.
and the things came through in the fax machines. And he had this giant press conference where he got to unleash his gun safe and go, "This is what I got. Look, guys." And because he didn't get to do it again, it's we're up to four again. Well, there wasn't the gun safe opening. We suck. Mind you, we have like freshman and sophomore guns that we still have.
Right. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
They're worried about the ammunition shortage that's going to happen in 3 years.
Yeah, we're America. Yep.
You were stockpiling
Yep.
because you know the world is going to end if you don't
Yep.
buy out the entire supply right
We're
now.
not winning the arms race. Sir, you have 1,700 nukes. We're losing the arms race.
As soon as you stop resupplying, you've lost.
Yep.
All right. I think that's a good. I think it's maybe one of the best parallels I've heard about Ohio State in a while.
Yeah.
Good job, Jim.
Military complex. Yep. Yeah.
You found it.
That's
All
beautiful.
right. Thoughts on this game, Alex?
Uh, Plead the fifth.
No, you can talk. That's fine. I would.
No,
No, no
I
obstructing.
think Ohio State wins this game, to be honest. I think Tennessee is, per usual, a little bit overrated and a little overhyped. I know people that are Tennessee fans. I wouldn't hate seeing Tennessee win a playoff game, but I also fear that it will make their fan base unbearable.
Hmm. Hmm.
Fair. My thought on this game is if Tennessee is within a touchdown in the middle of third quarter,
Fuck.
buckle up, because I think it's about to be a really good finish.
Yeah, I say Tennessee by 3.
Are you just
In the
saying that
scenario
like
I
how
just laid out, or generally,
Generally.
that would be a 10-point swing in the line, wouldn't it? Aren't they like 7-point favorites? Ohio
Yeah,
State.
Tennessee by 3.
All right.
Given everything that I've heard and everything I see, Tennessee by 3. I just think what's his face, the coach for Tennessee is,
Heupel.
I think he's just got, he's a better coach. And if it becomes a dogfight like I think it's going to be, he wins.
Fair enough. All right, let's get into some other college football news. We talked about one head coach hiring. Let's talk about another potentially program changing hires. Bill Belichick is named UNC's head coach, and he brings with him Michael Lombardi as the program's general manager.
Do all colleges have a general manager?
I believe this is the new model. I
This
think we're
new by like he started it?
now Andrew Luck is the GM at Stanford.
So he's the second guy to do this?
Second, that's been,
the
I would
big
say,
like second big
famously
name.
reported. Yeah. There may be this person in every program that's just not a high profile name.
So is the GM in charge of NIL? Because that would add up.
I'm going to say in charge of NIL. There's got to be some other.
Recruiting.
I don't. Well, Lombardi, maybe talent,
Talent evaluation.
bingo. Like that's definitely a Michael Lombardi thing. That's what he was known for: talent evaluation, cap, cap gymnastics. Like so, yes. I think this is Belichick gearing up for what Rutgers maybe put on NIL at some point if he stays there long enough.
Belichick probably has no idea what to do when it comes to NIL. He just wants to coach football. So he's like, all right, I got to get a guy here who's going to do a little BS.
Oh, I don't want to say that, Alex. Remember, he's also one of the best general managers in the history of NFL.
That's true. But yeah,
So, obviously, a big splash in North Carolina. But there are concerns that Belichick took this job to make sure he had something in line for the fall, because his contract buyout drops from $10 million to $1 million after June 1st, 2025, which would make it very easy for North Carolina to get rid of him if Bill was offered an NFL job that he wanted to leave for.
I think Bill makes the playoffs year one.
Year one,
Year one.
I definitely think they're competitive in their conference. I'm not going to say they're not going to make the championship game. We'll see if they make. Remember, he's going into a conference that many
It's
years you have to win it.
Clemson, Miami, him, right? Who else is there?
SMU.
Mm, I think might be a one-hit wonder.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. It's not just he's going to run in there and rule it from the start. I feel like he's got to get through some stuff. But Alex, thoughts on Bill Belichick year one?
uh, I think he definitely starts turning program around. I unfortunately, not unfortunately, because he's not the same kind of person, but I see like kind of a Dion effect. Guys are gonna say that they might be on the fence of playing at North Carolina, but they're gonna want to play for Bill Belichick. So he's gonna have that draw, the name
Let
draw.
me let me just drop the schedule for you. Okay?
Okay.
TCU home opener. Okay?
Okay.
Charlotte, Richmond, UCF, Cal, NC State, then Clemson, Duke, Stanford, Virginia. Virginia might catch them. Syracuse, Wake.
They don't even play Miami or SMU next year.
Nope, not till the championship. So you're looking at
NC State,
Clemson.
Clemson, UCF.
I think they can handle NC State.
I would say it's a rivalry game.
I
We
I
know
would
that there are.
say if he gets in there and gets rolling, he can make a run of this.
It could be this year's version of SMU,
Yep.
right? Make it to the championship game, and as long as they're ranked high enough, they won't get knocked out.
Yep.
All right. We will see. We will see what comes of Bill Belichick and Steve, old Stevie Belichick in North Carolina. We had some awards that were handed
I
out over the past week,
feel
including
like
the
how you
Heisman.
selectively picked some of these. Go
What?
ahead.
We
No,
had,
you got them. I'm sorry, you didn't. I take it back. Go ahead.
I mean, I did, but I picked the ones of, I think, note.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
fair.
Travis Hunter wins the Heisman Trophy in a close vote. I think it's closest since the mid 2000s,
Yeah.
um, over Ashton Genty.
Can we skip over this?
We had Travis Hunter as the winner, Ashton Genty in second, Dylan Gabriel third, Cam Ward in fourth, Cam Scatabo in fifth, Bryson Daly, Army's quarterback in sixth, Tyler Warren, Penn State tight end seventh, Shedeur Sanders eighth, Curtis Rourke from IU in ninth, and Kyle McCord rounded out the voting in 10th place in the Heisman. I looked at like the actual breakdown of voting, and I think at times this is laughable. I want to know. I think all Heisman voters should have to release their votes and say who they voted for, so that we can make a vote as the public and say you no longer get to vote on this.
We
What if
said
one
that
of the
last
votes
year
was the
too.
public? Like it weighed the same as everyone else's, but we got a vote.
Wade,
Um,
we had a vote. I think there's so many votes, Alex.
Oh,
Yeah, there's this is like one of those things where there's more people vote on that you think. It's not like the college football playoff committee.
I got you. I wasn't. I guess I just never really looked into how many people vote.
Yeah. What was your statement, Jim?
we said that last year, and I agree with you.
I just, I mean, no, I don't want to throw any shade at anybody, but why is Kyle McCord getting votes? Like,
Not
if
real sure.
right,
That's
Bryson
probably the
Daly,
Michigan vote.
you think it's the Michigan,
Yeah, to troll Ohio State.
right? Um, I would have expected Shedeur Sanders to be above Bryson Daly.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't like them, but that was kind of. I don't know. He
Curtis
was lower
Rourke,
than I thought he would be.
yeah, Curtis Rourke. I mean, Cam Scatabo is where he should have been,
Yeah,
right?
and I don't disagree that Travis Hunter probably deserves it just based on I don't know. I like
Yeah,
Ashton Jenny. I think he had a great season, but you can't take away from Travis Hunter being a great athlete.
I disagree with you.
Okay. I
Like
never thought that would happen.
statistically, it's just I don't get it.
I think it just goes on what are you voting on? Statistics? I don't have a problem with saying that because last year I feel like we did it, but
I just don't like this. I don't like this decision.
All right.
who
Other awards,
you would have said Ashton Jenny then?
Yeah.
Okay.
other
I mean, if we'd
awards.
have held him back, like if we didn't hold him back, we let him eat when we
Uh,
were up, he would have broke records, you know?
that's well, I remember he was hurt for part of the season as well, like still playing but not playing at 100%. He had like
One
his
player
bio.
was chasing the title, one player was trying to benefit his team.
I think they both were trying to help their team.
Hmm, okay, say so.
Playing both ways isn't an attempt to help your team.
I, I, I disagree with you, Muff.
You don't think that Travis Hunter
I
had
don't think
honest
his
efforts?
main priority was the team. I'll be the man on the porch this week.
You don't have to ask me to get on it with you. You know how I feel about
Ah,
Colorado.
if somebody's playing that many snaps and putting that much effort in, I have to believe that whether or not you think it's the forefront of his mind, you got to have some buy-in to the team situation to do that to your body.
Sure.
Okay. Other awards. Most outstanding player, the Maxwell Award went to Ashton Genty. Walter Camp, the player of the year, which has typically been the best indicator of the Heisman winner, went to Travis Hunter. Coach of the year went to Kurt Signetti. Doak Walker, the running back of the year, went to Ashton Genty. Davey O'Brien, the quarterback of the year, went to Cam Ward. The Bolitnikoff This is the distinction to the top wide receiver went to Travis Hunter. Some controversy there, especially amongst some, we'll say, the Liam Blutmans of the world, Alex,
Yes. I mean, he has some arguments.
who pointed out that San Jose State's wide receiver Nick Nash was first in the nation in receptions, receptions per game, receiving yards per game, and receiving touchdowns, and was shut out of the Blitnikoff Award.
Yeah, I
Any
have more of it. I think that's a fair argument.
yeah.
I mean,
The Mac
especially, I hate to say it, but like you're already giving the guy the Heisman and the player of the year. Like, come on.
and the Mackey, which is the tight end of the year, goes to Tyler Warren of Penn State. There were additional cases put out there and arguments, again, of the Liam Blutmans of the world, that Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green should have won this one because of what he did for Bowling Green, his stats, any and
No.
all of the things.
Tyler Warren's good. I have no problem with Tyler Warren getting that award.
Jim, thoughts? Any of those last ones, wide receiver or tight end?
No.
And the Lombardi Trophy goes to the top player in college football.
Which
You heard that again. The top player in college football
I feel like we have 8 awards that go to the top player in college football.
went to Texas offensive lineman Kelvin Banks.
Good for him. Get the
I had
big
to,
boy
I had to
trophy.
look I had to look that one up. I was like, wait, we have another top player trophy? Um, that we do. Any other awards anybody saw?
Nothing outside of that.
I tried at the big ones.
Yeah.
You did good, bud.
All right, in other college football news, Marshall, the Thundering Herd, had to withdraw from playing Army in the Independence Bowl due to many of their players leaving the program in the portal, Louisiana Tech, to replace Marshall in this bowl game.
I'm surprised they got a team to replace him this late.
I don't think they did.
They did. Louisiana Tech.
Oh, I thought you meant the. Never mind. My fault. My fault. I thought you meant the Marshall players.
Oh, no, no.
Nope, they got a team. They got a team to take that spot. Um, Army starting running back Kanye Udo plans to enter the transfer portal.
How does that work?
That is the question, and I do not have the answer to, nor could I find it. I thought that when you committed to Army, you committed to a lot of things, many of them to what your academic and student athlete career could and would look like. It's of interest to me how this plays in NIL moving
Like,
forward and transfer portal moving forward. Um, I mean, I think they get paid, right? Like being in West Point, you get some type of like living stipend, I believe, as you're training. Curious
well, I
how
don't
all
think
that
there's like a
goes.
tuition. You're living and eating for free.
No, but I think they get paid on top of that, Alex.
Oh, okay. I'm
Just
not,
from
yeah.
agreeing. So
Okay.
I'm just curious how all that plays out, what that contractual agreement looks like if you do leave, and what that just means. I have
Like, do
no
you owe
idea.
service or do you owe money back or, yeah.
Right. No idea. Um, yeah. Bowl's coming up this week. Wednesday, is that correct? Wednesday is Memphis WVU.
Wednesday, yes.
Alex, any
Uh,
thoughts? We just looking to get through this and get to next year now?
yeah, pretty much. I'm looking past it. I hate to say that, but
All right, we have
they,
Western Kentucky taking on James Madison.
wait, Kentucky, WVU is not Wednesday. WVU is Tuesday, just for the record. It's tomorrow.
Sorry, my days are
Oh,
mixed
no,
up.
that's okay. I was just clarifying. You said that, and then I'm
I thought it was Tuesday. I thought we were
like,
talking
what?
Tuesday.
I kind of had to think about whether or not it was Tuesday today when you said that. So
Today is Tuesday, December 17th.
that's true if you're listening to this, but we were recording it on Monday.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Uh, the Hilltoppers, Western Kentucky taking on James Madison.
Hilltoppers.
Hilltoppers.
Any thoughts on this one? I have nothing to offer.
Hilltoppers.
Hilltoppers.
There we go. Cal taking on UNLV.
I got money on UNLV, so
That's right. I think we all do. Georgia Southern versus Sam Houston.
no, no thoughts.
Is that Ohio University versus Jacksonville State
Yep.
without Rich Rod?
Yep.
Ohio have anybody? They lost Jim.
I don't know.
All right. Tulane, Florida.
That'll actually be a decent game. Tulane was one of the like possible Power Five, you know, or Group of Five big names. Florida was always on that cusp. I don't know. I think it'll be a better game than expected.
And then we have all of the college football first round playoff games. And then we end out this week with Fresno State taking on Northern Illinois.
That's what I'm really here for.
That's what we're looking for. All right, that wraps up college football. Let's get into a couple things, other interesting news in sports.
Interesting news in sports.
Starting on the pitch. This game may now be final, Alex. I do not know. Marshall University men's soccer team in the national championship after the semifinal win 1-0 over Ohio State, taking on Vermont. ESPN2, do we have a live score update?
That is what I'm looking for right now. Live updates of the College Cup final. It looks like, oh, no, that's the semifinal. Second half underway. Halftime, 0-0.
0-0. Marshall
That was at
looking.
8:56, so it actually
It might.
9:22. The second half started at 9:22.
So we've only got about 15, 20 minutes left.
Yep.
All right. See how that one ends up. In the basketball world, BYU reportedly lands a top recruit in the 2026 class with a $7 million NIL deal.
I don't understand why you're upset by this or what your point is by putting this in here.
I beg the question, when is it too soon to start offering this big of an NIL deal?
Like, what if he like tears his ACL and is never the same again?
Then you take the deal back.
And that's where I get into the concern of, is this going to turn into we're starting to offer freshmen large NIL deals? Like when is going too far backwards too much?
Buddy, this is the new world. This is business.
But is it really business? Because if you're not going to be able to cash in for 5 years and they can take it away, it's not really business at that point. It's all speculation.
Guys,
This is the
big
same with
news.
the scholarship and stuff,
Big
man.
soccer news. Marshall scored.
Oh, one
Marshall's up 1
nothing.
nothing against
Thundering
the
Herd.
Vermont with 22 minutes left in the second half.
Say it again, Jim.
I don't know. I lost track.
Sorry.
I would just say, if you can offer a $7 million deal, you're not going to be contractually obligated to actually go through with as a school. That's a problem for me. Like if we're going to start putting these deals on paper or out into the world and then not have to actually abide by them, then you can offer a seventh grader $10 million and then take it away in their senior year because they didn't turn into what you thought they were going to be.
Sounds like a plan, man. It's business. It's the new norm.
I hate it.
We
In case you're
should have
surprised.
wrote you should have wrote your senator. Had them step
I
in.
don't think I hate NIL. I mean, I'm not like crazy about certain aspects of it, but the I mean, I hate the fact I think you should have to be like a senior in high school before they can start talking NIL deals. You can talk commitment, but before you actually start talking money, I think you should be a senior.
You're not wrong, but 'tis the way of the world.
Speaking of big money in baseball, Juan Soto and the New York Mets agreed to a 15-year, $765 million contract, a contract, largest deal in professional sports history.
Baseball, man.
Getting paid,
Baseball is right.
Baseball's
How
a
how long till we see $1 billion contract in baseball? We think in the next 5 years?
probably.
it'll be a long-term contract, probably from the Yankees.
I think we should stop like promoting baseball.
Why?
Who, us as a
I think we should
podcast or the media at large?
all of us, I think in general, stop baseball. I campaign that baseball should be done away with
Why?
because this is gross. Exorbitant amounts of money for a grown ass man to hit a ball.
So if this was football, how would you feel?
With this much money, probably the same.
Okay. Just
Like we're sitting here going, in 5 years, someone will get paid $1 billion.
How do you feel about soccer? Because you have some pretty substantial deals, and I'm not
I
just
think
talking
you
about
know
like,
how I feel about soccer.
do you think it's more justified in soccer or baseball?
Nothing is justified for that much money.
Comparing the two. First choice.
Uh, Neither.
First choice. What are the other? A or B?
I,
C
I,
is not an option.
but I know. No is my answer.
That is not how this game works.
I will not answer. Refrain.
Alex?
baseball. I think they bring in more media money in America. But the difference is I'm not in another country. So in another country, you're going to say soccer
All right.
for
I'm
the
gonna say,
same
I'm gonna
reason.
say the world dictates this one, and the world's gonna say soccer.
Or
All right. That brings us into the end of this week's episode. Any other topics, thoughts, comments, questions? Pepper.
negative ghost rider. There was an injury in Vermont. They're walking off the field now. I'm trying to decide if I thought it was a soccer injury or a real injury. And I played soccer, so I'm allowed to say that.
Jim, I would like you to know, you may think I'm a serial killer because I don't look at the notes, but at least my eyes are on the camera. I've looked at you for the past 10 minutes, and all I see is the top of your hat.
Well, Alex is doing the same thing, man.
I can see Alex's eyes.
Occasionally.
I look up when I'm speaking.
When it gets to the other interesting news in sports, Muff, I tune out.
Well,
Maybe
maybe you need to find interesting news in sports.
nothing has happened in fighting or NASCAR lately, so Jim's out.
Ah,
Exactly.
that's it. There's the
Exactly.
where's Jake? What's Jake Paul doing?
Collecting dollars.
No, he's never
Collecting
he's
dollars.
never gonna stop doing that. As a reminder, tune in for the betting show Thursday morning. Follow us at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter. Sports Stuff with Jim Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Hit all those action verbs. Ding ding. Get the bell
Right.
on. And make sure you do all of that. And while you're doing that, especially over the holidays, while you're traveling around, make sure you tell somebody about Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff.
Yeah.
Because by doing that, you will tell a friend, make a friend, be
The uh
a friend.